Welcome to Dem Boyz, a podcast that is the #1 regression candidate. We're one Saints fan and one Cowboys fan, one fan of who dat and one fan of dat win. We're here to give weekly takes, game recaps, bad betting picks, game previews, and the occasional Seinfeld reference.
This week, we are going to be previewing the AFC and NFC North. And as such, we have a patron Bear/Steeler to represent the two division winners from last year. And that person is running back Bam Morris, born Byron Bam Morris, January 13th, 1972, in Cooper, Texas. So we've had two straight weeks of Texas-born running backs.
Not Amari Cooper, Texas.
Not Amari Cooper, Texas, no. Bam Morris emerged as one of the top running backs in Texas high school football before starring at Texas Tech University. After a productive college career, he was selected by the Pittsburgh Steelers, 3rd round, 91st overall, the 1994 NFL Draft. Made an immediate impact in the NFL. He rushed for 836 yards and 7 touchdowns as a rookie, enjoying his best season in 1995. That year, he rushed for 559 yards, 9 touchdowns, helping lead the Steelers to Super Bowl 30, where they fell to some team. I don't know. Following his time
thanks Neil O'Donnell.
Cowboys MVP Neil O'Donnell. Following his time in Pittsburgh, Morris would go on to play for the Baltimore Ravens, the Chicago Bears, and the Kansas City Chiefs during a 7-year NFL career. He finished with 3,809 rushing yards, 790 receiving yards, 36 total touchdowns in 74 regular season games. So I don't think he would qualify for any of the statistical categories.
He didn't have 10 touchdowns in a season at some point?
Nope.
That would be the only possible one.
I don't think so. Yeah, it says his best season was 9 touchdowns. So that, yeah. Despite his success on the field, Morris's career was overshadowed by repeated legal troubles involving drug-related offenses, which ultimately shortened his time in the NFL. Although his promising career never reached full potential, he is remembered as a powerful, bruising runner who played a key role in the Steelers' mid-90s resurgence and a run to the Super Bowl. I will say he was one of the, when I would play Madden and I would try to trade all the best players to the Saints, he was one that I usually targeted for whatever reason. I don't.
Just like the name.
Yeah, that's probably it. That was probably it. So, Bam Morris, we salute you, sir. All right, I'm Paul, the Saints fan.
I'm Brandon, the Cowboys fan.
And we're your host, Izzy. Let them know what time it is.
Yeah, that's it. It's go time. Let's see you lift that.
Mr. Mandelbaum, please.
It's go time.
This one's for you, Pop. It's go time.
It's go time.
You've been married 3 times.
That's it! It's go time!
It's go time.
All right, buddy. Well, we got a little late start tonight. Brandon had some car trouble, so yeah.
Going great. Things are going great, Fall.
It's been a week. It's been a week. But you know what? Football is back. I've got the Hall of Fame game on my TV here. They are right now talking about Panthers legend Luke Kuechly. I saw Drew Brees on the field earlier. Obviously, he will headline the class going into the Hall of Fame this weekend, along with Kuechly, Larry Fitzgerald, Roger Craig, and Adam Vinatieri, Patriots kicker. So we'll probably talk more about that next week. Going to have some previews here, but before we get to all that, let's do a little housekeeping. You want to email the show, you can do so, blessthemboys@gmail.com, blessdemboyz@gmail.com. We're on Twitter or X at bless_dem_boys. I'm at Paul Elliott _316. Brandon is at Ball from Grace. The Blue Sky segment, no more because we got to verify our age. So
they put the kibosh. They're trying to hold it. They're trying to keep us down, Jerry.
Well, apparently the Bosnians are trying to put the kibosh on us too because we got a little.
I was trying to spread the joy. I was trying to spread the joy of that song by sharing it with the world, and I thought, we're on YouTube. We're sharing a YouTube video. This won't be a problem. Well, that's not true. So,
yeah, Brandon sent me a email photo of an email, said we had a potential copyright strike or whatever against us on Spotify, and we figured out it was when we were talking about the World Cup, and the Bosnians had that the hit song about coming to America. Take you to America, and apparently they got us, Jerry. They found us.
Well, like stick it to America is what they're trying to do over there. They're just mad because we won.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, we'll go with that. Sure. If you're checking us out here on YouTube Live, thanks for hanging out. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button while you're here. If you want to check us out on other platforms, we're also on Spotify and Apple. We do also post the videos to YouTube afterwards. Wherever you check us out, thank you. Please leave a rating and review. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell the bots.
I did want to point out because they just showed somebody on the sidelines. I don't know if it was the person who caught the last pass, but there was somebody in a Cardinals uniform with the last name Virgil, as you remember, is the author of the Aeneid.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so there we go. We got some Odyssey connections for tonight's game.
We have some Odyssey connections. Oh boy! All right. Well, we'll get to the division previews. I know we've been looking forward to this for a little while, but before we do that, we here at Bless Dem Boyz we do pride ourselves on being able to discuss other things.
But enough about fish. I can discuss other things, you know.
All right, Brandon. With everything else going on this past week with you, what else you been up to?
Okay, so I'll lead off with. Hold on a sec. I'm gonna be muting myself frequently to shield our listeners from the coughing. So
okay, that's fine. Brandon's got a little under the way. Have you been to the vet? Have you been to the vet yet?
No, I just got Rusty's medicine. You know, Smucker's medicine, not Rusty.
Yeah, Rusty.
Those horse pills.
Yeah.
What was the thing that Aaron Rodgers was saying you should take? The horse steroids or whatever?
Yeah. It was the same thing that Mel Gibson was on Joe Rogan's podcast saying he had friends that they cured their cancer because they took whatever.
Ivermectin.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Okay, so last Thursday, have you ever heard of the Genuine Cup, Paul?
No.
So the Genuine Cup is this thing where they have countries from all over the world. Well, they'll send soccer teams, and it's like for autistic adults, and so so they come over and they have a tournament at Rice. So like I think this is like the third or fourth year that they've had it. But the company that I work at own AS Roma, and so AS Roma sent a team over to play in this tournament. And so last Thursday they had an opportunity where we could volunteer to go, and like they had like an event. So we like met them over there, kind of showed them around, helped them with some stuff, and like we had like it was like a bowling event. And so like I went over there and hung out with them. Was able to talk to some of the coaches using my very rudimentary Italian too. So talk to some of the players, some of the coaches, served as translator for some of my coworkers as well. So we had that last Thursday. So that was a really cool experience. It was a lot of fun. Just my company does like a lot of those like opportunities for just working with different organizations. So we did this, like our company also does stuff for like Boys and Girls Club. They pack lunches for like school lunches for kids. So really good opportunity and really cool to kind of like see the team. Then Friday night we went to the Houston Shakespeare Festival, which we went and saw the Comedy of Errors, which one of my favorite Shakespeare comedies to read and see. But it's basically what if Shakespeare wrote a Three Stooges, a play that was like a Three Stooges style thing. A lot of slapstick stuff. The basic gist of the story is there were two sets of twins, one rich set of twins and one poor set of twins, and both. So like so both sets of twins were also given the same names. So like the two poor twins were both named Jeromeo, and the rich ones were named something that started with an A. I can't remember. Well, they were separated at birth, and there was like one rich one and one poor one went off to this city, one rich one and one poor one went off to this city, and they never knew about each other's existence. And then they show up. Then one of them shows up in the other's hometown, and hijinks ensue because they keep getting mistaken for each other. And since they have the same names, that also leads to a lot of hilarity ensues, basically. So
Gotcha.
Very fun, very lighthearted. They also, so for a lot of these plays now, to make them just kind of like tweak them and make them modern, throw in some references to like you can set it in more modern times, or you can add like this one for the introduction. They had like kind of a rap song to introduce everybody, and then they also had like Star Wars references, and then there's a part where one person says, this woman, she's so round, she's like a globe. I could like pick out all these places around her, and he's like, well, where is France? And it'd be like, on her buttocks, sir. Where's Scott? And so like one of them was like, well, where is UT? And it was like, her teeth, as they are all burnt orange. And then they did, so they started throwing like Texas references in and stuff. Like just, they did A&M, they did Texas, they did Rice, they did a bunch of other places. So that was a lot of fun too. Did want to also mention some music that I have checked out. Very appropriate for this week because Jack White has a new album called Frozen Charlotte. So Panthers. Yeah. Twisted Teens, which I think is actually out of New Orleans, has a new album called Florida Water Blues. That was really good. A singer who, her name is Sadie, but she stylizes it as Sad 13. So SADIE. Okay. Yep. She has an album really short because all the songs are like 2 minutes long, if that, called 1331. And then another one, this is from a little farther back. It's an Australian kind of punk band called the Radium Dolls. Their album called Wound Up. I did start the new Shabuzi album today. Gotcha. So only made it about a quarter of the way through. So it's like 20 tracks. So it's a long one. But I do recommend the song Cowgirls on there. That's a good one. What about you, Paul? What'd you get? Oh, I did watch some TV too. I watched an episode of Black Mirror on Saturday while I was resting up, and another episode of Lost. So I'm nine episodes in now. The last one I watched was it was about the confidence man, the guy who like had the letter, and he was and so like I think his name was it Sawyer?
Sawyer,
yeah.
He's an important he's an important character.
Yeah, and I think I watched 2 episodes because I watched that one, and then I also watched the one about the Iraqi guy.
Oh yeah. I forget his name, but I know.
His backstory too.
Sawyer. So obviously that's what I know that actor from best is Lost, but he shows up in a Mission Impossible, like one of the. I want to say it's the 4th one. He's an agent at the beginning. Spoiler alert! Who gets killed, and like his partner ends up teaming with Ethan Hunt to like kind of take down who killed him, basically. But yeah, Yeah, I haven't watched any Black Mirror. I've heard. Well, actually, no. I watched the very first one, which was about the prime minister
with the pig.
Yeah, with the pig. Yeah, that.
So I watched
that one.
I watched that one with my wife, and she was like, "That I'm not watching this ever again."
Cut it. Cut it.
Well, there was no. She did watch one more episode with me, which was the one. It's called like the complete history of you, and you like have like memories like that you can like rewind and stuff with your eye. Like it's pretty. This one was about like earning credits and using them. It was like it was okay. I wasn't like blown away or anything.
Yeah, every once in a while, social media will blow up with like, man, you got to check out this one Black Mirror episode. And I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah, they only have like a few episodes a season. It's not even like 5. So like, but they don't make a lot of them.
But they'll get like these. They'll have like really good actors in these episodes, just out of kind of like out of nowhere. What's the one? There was one actress who was in one that blew up, but I can't remember who it was now. Well,
there's like Twilight Zone used to have like people who were like,
yeah.
You'll be watching Twilight Zone and it's like, wait, that's William Shatner,
right?
And then,
okay, go ahead.
we should also mention we can use this as a segue because Lost. There was a clip from a movie preview or trailer to drop today where someone was screaming, "We're gonna be bigger than Lost."
So I missed. I didn't understand what he was saying at first, and then somebody captioned it later, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense."
Yeah.
So you're referring to the new movie. It's coming out in about a month with Robert Pattinson, who's
why didn't somebody get these predators out of here?
It's got real Jim Carrey energy in that line reading. But he's got a new movie coming out called Primetime. Quite a year for Robert Pattinson.
Somebody said that like people are going to look back on this 2026 run from Robert Pattinson and just be like, it's going to be studied by film historians.
I actually wanted to, if you'll bear with me here. So we talked last week, or maybe it was the week before, we were talking about Christopher Nolan films because we were talking about The Odyssey, and I mentioned Tenet as a film I enjoy. So if you go back so he's in Tenet. Robert Pattinson's in Tenet. If you go back to that movie, moving forward, he was in that. He's in a movie called The Devil All the Time, which is a Netflix original movie with Tom Holland. I would highly recommend it. Pattinson plays like this evangelical preacher who's not as good as he seems, kind of thing. Then he does the Batman, obviously. And then he does Mickey 17, which I've talked about on the show, which was quite good.
I need to see that. That looked good.
He does Die My Love with Jennifer Lawrence, which got a lot of acclaim. I thought it was okay. I thought he was good in it.
Is that streamable somewhere?
It's on Mubi, M-U-B-I. But I don't know if it's on any other streaming service. Actually, hang on. I can tell you real quick. It is on
Amazon Prime?
No. I mean, you could probably rent it on Amazon Prime, but he's in Die My Love. He has a uncredited appearance in Marty Supreme, which was phenomenal. I didn't even remember this. I had to look it up. He's like a commentator or something, one of the tournaments that the Chalamet character plays in. And then this year he did the drama with Zendaya, which I quite enjoyed. Obviously, The Odyssey. He's got this movie, Primetime, coming out, where he plays Chris Hansen, the To Catch a Predator guy from years gone by.
Did you ever watch that show?
I think I caught a couple episodes once upon a time.
It was
wild.
Yeah, like they start reading the transcripts, and you're like, this is the scum of the earth that you're like getting over here.
Yeah. And then
so
go ahead.
I did look up like why that show got canceled. Do you know why it got canceled?
No.
Because they went to like serve a warrant like with the police, and the guy like committed suicide, and they like got it on camera. Like so, yeah. So that was the end of that show.
Yeah, that was the end of that. But then later this year, Pattinson's got the new Dune movie, the conclusion of that series. And he's got the new movie with Denzel that I've been talking about, Here Comes the Flood, which apparently that movie's going straight to streaming. It's going straight to Netflix, which is kind of a bummer, but
so you can put those two together and you get Here Comes the Dune.
Right, exactly.
Here comes the Dune.
Yeah, the Here Comes the Flood does not have a release date, but I have heard that I've heard it's going straight to Netflix, which sounds weird because like it's Robert Pattinson and Denzel and the guy who directed City of God. It's like, wouldn't you put it in theaters at least for like a couple weeks, like just to?
Did you see the Madden movie is also going direct to?
Yeah, I saw that today. Yeah, that's wild to me. Like Nick Cage is John Madden, and you're not going to put that in theaters? Like that just seems. Somebody
took the Robert Pattinson clip from the trailer and that said, you realize how this looks, right? After like with the quote tweet of this is going straight to, he's like, you realize how this looks, right?
Yeah,
his voice in that movie is like he's so good. Yeah, like
it's ridiculous, man. And then we should also mention in Primetime is Merritt Weaver from Severance, our beloved Severance. The guy, I don't remember his name, but he's from Righteous Gemstones. That young guy that they recruit I
haven't watched. Oh, I know who you're talking about. To be the girl. Correct.
That guy is from Righteous Gemstones, and he's very good in that movie, in that show. You and I, okay. So I was vindicated because someone else thought that was Creed from The Office that he's talking to on. Someone else on Twitter was like, "Is this Creed from The Office?"
So I went back to rewatch it, and I could see it, but it looked like there was something just like a little off, and so like I just went to double check. I just went and checked it on his IMDb. I didn't.
Yeah, I looked at the cast list, and I didn't see him, but that would have been a pull if they, like, of all people, they get Creed from The Office. Creed Bratton. And who else is in there was somebody else that.
You think Pattinson wins the Oscar based on?
I mean, I think I'd say that Best Actor is probably an open race. I mean, everybody, because like Damon, as good as Damon is in the Odyssey, it's not a blow-away performance.
No, it was not.
I'm trying to think who else this year would be in contention. Well, I guess Gosling in Project Hail Mary was very good. I like Ray Fiennes in 28 Days Later, Bone Temple, but he's not getting nominated for that. There's a couple other movies coming out that.
Did you hear this like One Night Only movie kind of bombed?
I've heard it's very divisive. I have not seen it, obviously, but heard it's very divisive. I also heard The Invite. I don't know if you've heard of The Invite. It's Seth Rogen. Who else is in it? Where is it? I just had it. There we go. It's Edward Norton, Seth Rogen, Olivia Wilde, and Penelope Cruz. It's two couples. Like one couple invites the other over, and apparently gets kind of polyamorous, I guess. Like it gets, it's
a key party.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of gets to that. Yeah, it gets to that point.
So I want to say about this One Night Only because I saw the preview in multiple movies, and so the thing is like I just thought it was like a rom-com, right. But apparently like there's this whole like ban on when you can like do it. So the storyline is it's like The Purge, but for sex.
Oh, okay.
So if you're not married, you can only have sex one night a year.
Huh.
That's that's because I thought it was like a Valentine's Day thing.
Yeah.
So like, But apparently that is not the situation.
It's one night only by necessity. It sounds like.
Yeah, so it's not. I thought it was like a Valentine's Day thing, and like that's what I thought it was. And so, but apparently that's not it.
A meet cute or whatever the term is. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, listen. So you and I have been talking about a 2026 movie. You and I can maybe go watch together. I think Primetime might be it, buddy.
That's the one. I think
that might be it. I mean, I had heard about this movie. I heard rumblings about it, but I obviously hadn't seen a trailer, and the trailer dropped today, and it looks fantastic. So, the director of the movie, I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen any of his work. His last name is Oppenheim, which is kind of weird.
I know. I saw that, and I was like, I kept reading. I was like, Oppenheimer.
It's Christopher Nolan's stage name, or his.
His alternate
pin,
like his
pin name.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to the Oscar thing, I mean, the only other contenders, I guess Chalamet when Dune comes out, like if that's, but those kind of movies don't get really those accolades. There's Tom Cruise for Digger. I know we talked about Digger. That's a hot. I mean, I know you didn't interest you, but apparently he's going to get some buzz. There's a movie. We may have talked about this movie. Is it Wild Horse 9? I think is the name of the movie.
Yeah, with John Malkovich,
Sam Rockwell, and John Malkovich. That's gotten a lot of good buzz. I've heard. So, yeah. So I think, I think Primetime. We're gonna have to figure out a prime time to go see it. You and I at some point. I didn't have much else on the movie front this week. I will just mention the Denzel Challenge Week 32. We're rolling on here. The category this week is dual credits. So a movie where one person does two things, so to speak. So they direct and star, write, direct, the other kind of stuff. So the movie I picked here, this actually is appropriate following last week. We did He Got Game, which was a reunion theme. Denzel and Spike Lee reuniting after Malcolm X. The movie this week I picked is their first movie together, which is Mo Better Blues, which Spike directs and stars in. Obviously, Denzel is the lead star, but Spike Lee also stars in the movie. It's about a jazz trumpeter, Bleak Gilliam, played by Denzel. It's kind of a, just a character study, I guess, of that. I had seen it before. I've seen it before, but nice to revisit.
Did he have a song called "Hot and Heavy"?
No, I don't think he did. It also has a very good early performance from Wesley Snipes in the movie, who is one of his bandmates. So if you can check out Mo Better Blues, I would highly recommend. It's probably one of the underrated Spike Lee movies, because again, it's the movie he did it right after Do the Right Thing and right before Malcolm X. So it's like right between those two. So might have gotten lost in the shuffle there, but it's a very, very good movie. I did want to talk a little bit about Liverpool. I did watch their friendly against Leeds this past weekend. They didn't do as well. They ended up losing, I think, 4-2.
Did they blow their leads?
They did blow their leads. Yeah, absolutely. The game was in Chicago. Shout out to our guy Andy. The game was at Soldier Field. So
the soon to be former home of the Chicago Bears.
The soon to be former home of the Chicago Bears, which is ridiculous in its own sense, but such is life. I did want to mention something. So I was online the other day, and I decided to. So I know when we kind of decided that Liverpool would be my team, you helped me out with that survey. So I went to Google and I just typed in, if I am a Saints fan, what Premier League team should I root for? Like just that. And one of the teams they suggested was Liverpool. So I'll just give you the spiel here. Where am I at here? Hang on. I had this queued up, And I lost it. Let's see. Here we go. So, okay. So culturally, the city of Liverpool is often cited as the closest equivalent to New Orleans in England. Both are port cities with immense passion, distinctive accents, culture, and a never walk alone mentality. Now, there's two other teams that they suggested. And it's interesting because both of these teams are in the championship, not the Premier League. They're in the championship. One is West Ham United.
They just got relegated this year.
Right. So identified as a top match due to having a similar cult feel. They have an incredibly dedicated working class fan base, rich tradition, recently won a major trophy after years of heartbreak, mirroring the Saints Super Bowl run. And the number one team that they matched up with was the Southampton FC because they are the Saints.
Saints, yep.
So
I just decided to do the same thing with the Cowboys fan. Would you like to?
Okay.
Would you like to guess
Manchester United? Is it
Manchester United?
I was watching some videos on YouTube, and none of them really talked about the Saints, but like everyone was like, if you're a Cowboys fan, you need to root for Manchester United. Like that was
so my favorite. Did you ever see the original Ted Lasso commercial, like the long video?
I don't think I saw the whole thing. I saw it in bits, but
okay. So there's like a long one. I can send it to you on YouTube sometime. But the Ted is trying to learn all the teams, and so he's like, I'm going to use a American equivalent to learn all of them. And so Coach Beard has flashcards, and so he'll hold them. And he's like, Manchester United, biggest team in the country. Everyone either loves them or hates them. He goes, Dallas Cowboys, and then he goes, Liverpool. And this was before they had won. It was like a little before Liverpool had actually finally come back and won something. Liverpool, big team, haven't won anything in 30 years. And he goes, also the Dallas Cowboys. And so, and then there was another one. There was another one where he holds it up and he goes, Jennifer Lawrence. It's like, and then they cut to him in an interview. It's like, all I know is we're going to beat the Dallas Cowboys and the other Dallas Cowboys and Jennifer Lawrence. So,
yeah. So, so Southampton and West Ham United, I could technically root for them too because they're in
you could.
Is it the championship, right? That's what they call it. Yeah. So I've been trying to learn. I've been trying to.
Would you like to hear what Google said? Because Google also said Manchester United, but then they had another one.
Yeah. Well, what you got?
If you prefer the pure agony of high expectations, great style, a gorgeous stadium, and an eternal next year is our year heartbreak, Tottenham is practically a spiritual home.
I've heard Tottenham's like a perpetual.
So the thing is like they were like that, but they had gotten to where probably like mid to late 2010s, their coach was Mauricio Pochettino, who you may know as the current U.S. men's national team head coach.
Yeah.
So under him, they almost won the league, except Leicester City ended up winning it over them. And they would get really close, and then they made it to the Champions League final one year and lost under Poch, and then eventually things just got stale, and then since they fired Pochettino, they've just basically been trying to figure out. They've just been churning coaches and haven't been able to figure it out.
Yeah.
They're a guy who basically ran everything for years. Who was the super GM left. And so, they were floundering last year. A bunch of players got hurt. And so, they almost got relegated. It was them and West Ham to get relegated last year, the battle for the final relegation spot. And they just, barely eked it out.
Okay, so let me ask this question because I've been trying to get up to date with all the cups and all the things. So, for the Premier League, is it at the end of the season, the team with the most points wins, or is there a tournament? How does that work?
Most points wins, no playoffs.
Okay, for the Premier League,
correct.
And then whoever, like the top 4 in the Premier League, go to the Champions League. The UEFA Championship, the next.
Yeah, the UEFA Champions League is like the big one. Top 4. It may be top 5 now. Like I think they may have adjusted it.
There's some.
There's some stuff going on with like because they do like league coefficients, and so like the better ones get more allocations, and so I think they may have upped the English coefficient so that they get 5 now.
I want to say it's 5.
I think that's kind of a recent thing.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I'm getting excited. So Liverpool's got 2 more exhibition matches or friendlies. Sorry, 2 more friendlies, and then August 23rd is their first game against not Nottingham Forest. It's another N. Starts with an N. Oh, come on. I'm losing it, Jerry.
Yeah, I think
starts with an N. Sounds like Newcastle.
Okay. I was like, it's not Norwich because I don't think Norwich is back in the Premier League yet.
No. So the Premier League kicks off August 21st. That's a Friday. Arsenal and Coventry, which Coventry's apparently is like bottom of the barrel, or they just got promoted, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, so it's the reigning champion basically kicking off with the supposed to win this game sort of thing.
Gotcha. So kind of like the NFL does. Well, not really, but yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm getting excited now. I don't know. Yeah. So Liverpool's first game will be on USA Network, so I can watch that. That'll work. All right. So, well, I'll try to keep up. I'll try to keep up with it for sure. And then once the UEFA, the Champions League, that starts, and they play those games in the middle of the week, and I'll have to keep up with that too. I know right now they're doing the Caribou Cup.
Caribou Cup, yep. Carabao Cup, I think is
because I saw, and that's everybody, right? That's all the English leagues, right, playing against each other.
I think that I can't remember who all's involved in the Carabao Cup. Let me look.
Well, because like I know I'm looking at the schedule for tomorrow, and like Wrexham's playing, and like I know Wrexham's a Premier League team.
Okay, Carabao Cup is 92 clubs from the top 4 tiers.
Okay, but there's some.
The
some
FA
teams
Cup is the other one.
Some teams have a bye or something like, yeah.
Okay, so the FA Cup is also all 92 for the top 4 leagues.
Okay. So maybe some of these games are on Paramount Plus, so I might have to check some of those out if I can. I was actually watching a little bit.
It's also open. The FA Cup includes non-league clubs, so like the other qualifiers.
Okay.
So there's more for that.
Last night or the night before, I was watching. MLS has a tournament going right now with the Mexican League, and Messi, the Miami club, was playing. I forget what the name of the team was, but Messi was back and better than ever.
I think Cruz Azul is playing Philadelphia Union right now, actually.
Yeah, there's a couple games. So I thought Houston had an MLS team. Did they get rid of it?
Mm-mm. Houston Dynamo.
Okay.
Still
I didn't see
around.
them. I didn't see them on the schedule. That's why. And I saw Austin. Austin has a team as well. So didn't know what was going on there. But yeah, so we still got the soccer fever there. Try to keep up with that as the season goes. But, buddy, I think it's time we talk a little American football, if you will. If you are ready, I am ready.
Let's roll.
So the way we do this, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to do 2 divisions every week until we get all 8 covered. We're going to do the Norths tonight. We'll start with the AFC North, and the way we did it last year, we'll do it the same way this year. As we start from the bottom as they finished last year, work our way to the top, kind of give you our thoughts on each team, maybe a record. We'll do rankings and all that, and our playoff picks and all that in our episode right before the season starts. We'll do our MVP. We'll do our Coach of the Year jinx, our MVP jinx. We'll do all that down the way. But so these episodes are kind of a big overview of what we think is going to happen. We'll probably give away some of that conversation, but all in good fun. So let's start with the Cleveland Browns, the AFC North. Cleveland Browns, 5-12 last year. Their over-under, or at least the number I have for their over-under is 5.5. I don't know if that's still accurate. I guess I should have checked that, but I've got 5.5 here. Obviously, a slew of changes in the coaching staff there. New head coach Todd Monken comes over from the Ravens. He was offensive coordinator with the Ravens. They bring in Travis Switzer as the offensive coordinator. Obviously, Jim Schwartz, who was the defensive coordinator, felt passed over for the head coaching job, so he no longer with the team. They have Mike Rutenberg as their defensive coordinator. New special teams coordinator Byron Stewart. In terms of additions for the team, did some offensive line adjustments. They acquired Titus Howard from the Houston Texans. They re-signed Tavon Jenkins. They signed Zion Johnson, also Elchton Jenkins. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Obviously, the big move this offseason was the trade of Myles Garrett to the Rams. But in return, they did get a pretty good player in Jared Verse. So, not saying that's a 1-for-1 by any means, but it's not a, you gave Myles Garrett away for free type situation. Also, lost this year for the or departures, I guess, in addition to Myles Garrett, Wyatt Teller, who's now with the Texans, Joe Bitonio, longtime guard, he retired, David Njoku, tight end, Martin Emerson, who actually is with the Saints right now, coming off of a pretty bad injury. Typical Saints, just guy coming off a bad injury, sign him, see what he can do, and hope for the best. I will say the Browns last couple of years have drafted very well, and I think this year we probably talked about it after the draft, but Spencer Fanu in the first round, Casey Concepcion in the first round, Denzel Boston. A lot of buzz about Denzel Boston, this wide receiver out of Washington. One of you and I's kind of favorite players, safety Emmanuel McNeil Warren from Toledo in the third round for them. So,
holy Toledo, Batman!
Holy Toledo. My take on the Browns, we'll get to their schedule here in a little bit. I'm not saying they're a quarterback away from being like really competitive.
What are you talking about? They have Shadur Sanders.
I'm not saying they're a quarterback away from being really competitive, but like they're not as bad roster wise as people think, at least in my opinion.
Well, they have Jared Verse now.
They have Jared Verse, but like that defense should still be fairly good. They have Carson Schlesinger, who was Defensive Rookie of the Year last year. I think they've got a lot of talent. Now, obviously, the quarterback position is a huge question mark. You wonder what it's going to look like a year from now. I mean, if they start Shadur, does he screw up and win enough games where they're out of like the Arch Manning or Dante Moore or pick your favorite quarterback coming out next year? Are they out of that race? What does the plan hold for Monken? Like, is Monken a one and done contender in terms of coaching? I feel like this team's not going to be an easy out for anybody this year. I'm not saying they're going to win like double digit games. I'm not saying anything like that. But I don't think this is going to be a pushover team. I want to talk about their schedule real quick. So they play the AFC South and the NFC South. Not terrible. Their other three opponents, non-division opponents, are the Jets, the Raiders, and the Giants. Like, somebody's got to win those games. Like, it's not.
Well, there is a tie. There
could be a tie. Yeah, of course. Looking at their schedule, they start out back-to-back road games at Jacksonville, at Tampa. They have one primetime game. It's Week 4, Thursday Night Football, Pittsburgh. But I'm looking at their schedule, and I don't see like a stretch that I just go, man, that's a murderer's row. They do play Houston, but like that's in Cleveland. They have 3 home games in a row. Technically, there's a bye in the midst of that, but like Houston, bye week, Raiders, Bengals, and Falcons. I'm sorry, they have 4 home games in a row technically. Unless I wrote that down wrong. Let me double check that. I'm showing Week 10 Houston, bye week, Week 12 Raiders, Week 13 Bengals, Week 14 Falcons. Man, the NFL might be doing the Browns some favors here. Let me check this here. Make sure I'm not losing my mind, Jerry. Let's see. Yeah, that's 4 home games in a row with a bye in the middle of that. And then they end 3 of their last 4 on the road, which makes sense. But yeah, I mean, they do play the Saints. Saints do have to travel to Cleveland. No, I'm sorry. The Browns are traveling to New Orleans. So I'll get to see them. But yeah, I mean, what are your overall thoughts on the Browns going into this season?
I don't know. I don't know what to make of them because a lot of what they'd been built on was defense, and it was basically just the defense. Right. They took away their best player, and they also changed coordinators, and so that doesn't make me feel like particularly great about the situation. I don't believe particularly strongly in Shadur Sanders, and so I feel like I think 5.5 games is about right. I have trouble seeing them winning.
But yeah, let me ask you this question, and this is a silly question, I realize, before I ask it. Like, if the quarterback of this team was Kirk Cousins or Baker Mayfield, which they had Baker once upon a time and discarded him, but like, if their quarterback was someone of that stature, so I'm not saying like, a top 5 quarterback, but if they had a quarterback,
I like how you said someone of that stature, like Baker Mayfield. Like, oh, you mean someone short?
Right. But like, you know what I mean? Like, if they had a quarterback that was in like the 10 to 15 range,
like a replacement level quarterback, basically, or a league average guy,
right. So yeah, like Kirk Cousins to me is that. Like, if you
I feel like they could get to like maybe 9 wins with that.
Yeah.
9 or 10 wins.
But the
quarterbacks are really, I just want to impress upon you, the quarterbacks are really bad. And so
I agree. No, I agree. But my point is more the roster around it. Like, this roster, they've done a good job outside of quarterback building this roster, in my opinion.
Their offensive line's not particularly good though either, is it?
Well, they've lost a lot. That's like Bitonio was a long time stalwart there. Wyatt Teller was a Pro Bowler for them. He's in Houston now, which Houston needs offensive line help, as we'll talk about down the road. I think Zion Johnson's a good. He had some good seasons there. They do have Titus Howard from the Texans, so yeah, we'll see. And then Spencer Fanu, who they just drafted. Getting mixed reviews coming out of camp is from what I've heard. So we'll see. my take on the Browns is I think they're going to be a tough out. Like, I think Rich Eisen put them down as like a sleeper team. I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to stay asleep on them. But like, I just don't think people are going to roll into Cleveland and just get a win. You know, like I'll say this: their first game is at Jacksonville. I wouldn't be shocked if they beat Jacksonville week 1. Like, I'm not saying it's going to happen.
I think that says something about your faith in the Jaguars too.
Well, yeah, we'll get to them next week. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at their defense here. I mean, Mason Graham, who they got last year, was good rookie. We talked about Jared Verse, Quincy Williams. So not Quinnen Williams, but Quincy Williams. You know, I mean, there's players on this team. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting to see how they. And then Harold Fannin, their tight end, who's gotten a lot of praise last year. So I think that about does it for the Browns. Anything else you want to talk about the Browns before we move on?
I think we've spent enough time on the Browns.
All right, good enough. All right, let's move to their in-state rivals, the Cincinnati Bengals. They finished 6-11, 2025. They're over under 9.5, which I'm gonna. The Bengals. I there's a couple teams this year. Your team may be one of these two that fall in this category of, for me, of if not now, when. And the Bengals, I feel like we say this every year with them, though. It's like, all right, guys, you got Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Like, can this defense just be not terrible? And can you just keep Joe Burrow upright, keep him healthy, and he can do what Joe Burrow does? You know, can you not like piss away games in the early part of the season where you're having to, you know, claw back from a, you know, 3 games under 500 start and do all this? I don't know. Let's talk about their acquisitions real quick. So they re-signed Joe Flacco. They bring in Josh Johnson to back up Burrow. Orlando Brown Jr. They re-signed Dalton Reisner. Their big pickup on defense was obviously Dexter Lawrence for the number 10 pick in the draft. So that'll be a move that gets, I would say, scrutinized one way or the other. They also brought in Jonathan Allen from the Commanders. Just going to throw that out there. They lost a couple players. I mean, obviously, Trey Hendrickson leaves after all that drama over the last couple of years of him not getting his, or at least what he believes his just reward. In the draft, they did pick up Cassius Howell from Texas A&M, who I saw one clip of him from training camp the other day where he just bull rushed whoever the left tackle was, and people got kind of excited about. But it's one of those things where it's like, is that good for Cassius Howell, or does that mean that your left tackle stinks? Like what's so? We'll see what happens there. Again, for them, you know, schedule-wise, AFC South, NFC South, I think is going to help them potentially pad their stats a little bit, as it were. Their 3 other games are Dolphins, Chiefs, and Commanders. I'd say 2 of those 3 are beneficial to them. Obviously, they kind of draw the short straw with having the Chiefs because the Chiefs finished 3rd in their division last year. So we talked about their slow start to the season that they tend to have. Here's their first 4 games. Home Tampa, at Houston, at Pittsburgh, home Jacksonville. That's not cupcakes. Like, that's you gotta come out of the box prepared, right? They do have a trip overseas to Madrid to play the Falcons. They have a back-to-back Sunday night, Monday night, Week 10, Sunday night host the Steelers. Week 11, Monday night, go to Washington, play the Commanders. They do play. Their schedule down the stretch is not terrible. At Carolina, at Indianapolis, home Baltimore, home Cleveland.
Just so you know, their over under is now 10.5. By the way.
Yeah, I figured it was going to go up. There's a lot of buzz on this team, and I gotta tell. Go ahead.
Well, I will say it's also under 10.5 is minus 140, over is plus 115. So it's a little juiced on the under.
Yeah,
So.
that makes sense. I mean, yeah, their schedule, like I said, I'm just looking at, I mean, like their tough games are kind of spread out. Like they go to Baltimore right after they come off a bye week at Baltimore, and then they host Tennessee, and then they have that trip to Madrid to play the Falcons. I mean, their toughest game after that is maybe Kansas City, and that's not till week 14. It's at home, and it's sandwiched between at Cleveland and at Carolina. So, like, I just don't see a stretch of the schedule where I go, man, I don't know how they're going to survive this. Assuming everybody's healthy, assuming all that good stuff. And like we said, like their defense doesn't have to be the 85 Bears. Like if you could just be competent, like just be, not blast.
The Bengals are the AFC spiritual equivalent of the Cowboys, right?
Absolutely.
Like
yeah.
Dependent on their offense, 2 superstar receivers, really good quarterback, defense might be one of the worst in NFL history. Just don't. You know that meme from the Babadook where the woman's like, the kid is screaming in the back seat and she's like, why can't you just be normal?
Yeah.
And so it's like, that's the Cowboys and the Bengals yelling at their defense. Why can't you just be average?
The other kind of underrated aspect of this, and I'll just throw this out there, and this kind of goes for your Cowboys too, is like, and the Cowboys had it last year with Javonte Williams, but like, can the Bengals find a consistent running game? Can Chase Brown be, can he, I mean, he doesn't have to be 1,000-yard back, but like, can he get you to 800-900 yards and maybe take some of that pressure off of Burrow too? And can this offensive line hold up for him? So I'll be honest, man. I think I was high on the Bengals last year too, and it came back to bite me. But I don't know if I can quit them. I don't know if I can.
You're not going to learn your lesson?
I may not have learned my lesson. We'll see. We'll see in a couple weeks when we do our picks for the season. But
they did add Dexter Lawrence. That's a good way to improve your run defense, at least.
I mean, you would think so, right? Like, because here's the thing. If we come back a year from now and Dexter Lawrence was a bust, remember, they gave up the 10th pick in the draft for them. That could have been Caleb Downs. That could have been, an offensive lineman. That could have been Spencer Fanu. I think the Giants ended up picking the Miami offensive lineman at number 10, I believe. So, like, that's something that if that doesn't work out, it's going to get criticized. The other thing I'll mention, and when I first started looking at like, okay, what coaches are going to be on the hot seat, I was like, well, Zach Taylor's got to be on the hot seat. But then I remember
if I don't know if he doesn't get it, I think this has to be the year. I don't see how you can go one more.
See, but I thought that, but then I remembered Marvin Lewis was the coach of this team for 20 years. It seemed like, and like he was never, and it was the same kind of thing. Like they would, kind of get close, but not really. And,
they would win I feel like they would, under Marvin Lewis, they were at least like winning 11 games. It was just they got to the playoffs or they would get close to the playoffs or whatever.
I think Zach Taylor, he needs to be I think they need to make a run at least. Like if they don't make the playoffs, if they miss the playoffs again, I'm with you. Especially if a coach becomes available that the Bengals might view as being able to take them to the next level. I don't know who that would be. I can't name a name off the top of my head, but
name names, Seinfeld. She named names.
But we'll see. Yeah, I think the Bengals, they're set up to make a run, but again, got to keep Burrow healthy. Defense has got to be better, and you can't start. Look, that schedule I just mentioned, right? Home Tampa, at Houston, at Pittsburgh, home Jacksonville, at Miami, and they got an early bye week, week 6. You got to come out of the gate 3-2 at worst, in my opinion. Like if you go to the bye week and you're 2-3, God forbid 1-4, you're in trouble. So, So I think that's all we need to say about the Bengals. Anything else you want to say about the Bengals before we move on? All right, so let's move on to, I think everybody's kind of favorite for the division this year, the Baltimore Ravens, 8-9 last year. Over under, the number I have is 11 and a half. Don't know if it's gone up or down. 11 and a half. Obviously, John Harbaugh, no longer the head coach.
The under is minus 140.
Juice on the under. Okay. See, all right. Well, let's let me save it for a second. So John Harbaugh now with the Giants. You bring in head coach Jesse Minter from the Chargers, the defensive coordinator from the Chargers. They bring in Declan Doyle from the Bears. Shout out to Andy. He was the offensive coordinator, not play caller for the Bears. Obviously, Ben Johnson was the play caller. But so he's offensive coordinator now. Anthony Weaver, defensive coordinator. He was with the Ravens, went to the Dolphins. Now he's back with the Ravens. And then Anthony Levine's going to be their special teams coordinator. They bring in, or they re-signed Scoop Huntley. They bring in Skylar Thompson. They also had, for a minute, Diego Pavia for Vanderbilt. No,
he didn't even make it through training camp.
Didn't even make it through training camp, poor guy. Their big move this offseason, obviously they traded for Max Crosby. Not really. Backed out of that deal and then went and got Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals. They also brought back Calais Campbell for a year 25 or however long Calais Campbell's been in the league. So, just adding defensive players there. They also signed John Simpson, I believe from the Jets is where he came from, offensive lineman. They lost your guy, Cowboy legend Cooper Rush. He is now with the Falcons because they needed him to have training camp because their other quarterbacks are injured. Or I think Tua's back now, but they also lost Tyler Linderbaum, a perennial All-Pro center. Kyle Van Noy. They lost Isaiah Likely, DeAndre Hopkins. So these are not nothing. Draft wise, they selected Ione, the guard from Penn State, first round. A lot of buzz for them for Jacoby Lane, this wide receiver out of USC in the third round. Apparently his Twitter handle is something like "Can't Guard Jacoby," which if folks might remember, that was Mike Thomas's, Saints legend Michael Thomas's Twitter handle for a while. And Jacoby Lane's looked very impressive in camp, from what I hear. So hopefully maybe another weapon for Lamar. They just paid Zay Flowers, which you and I were talking about Chris Olave's contract. Buddy, did you see Zay Flowers' contract?
It's a lot of money.
I mean, now look, I'm not gonna throw stones because we just paying $33 million a year for a concussed wide receiver, but like Zay Flowers, we're paying. Okay, all right. So let's look at their schedule.
I hope he gave Lamar a commission on that.
Something. Obviously, Derrick Henry's back for another season. Here's my thing, and we'll go through their schedule, but here's my overall thought on the Ravens. So you're telling me we're going to get rid of John Harbaugh, who's been here for a long time. Going to bring in a first-time head coach, Minter. Keep everything relatively the same. Obviously, you bring in Trey Hendrickson. Offensively, you draft Jacoby Lane, but you hadn't really done. You lose your center, all right? You lose Linderbaum, and that's going to make you better. You're going to be the Super Bowl contender now.
Let me
explain
turn this question. Let me turn this question back to you. What if I told you, or what if
30 for 30.
What if John Harbaugh was holding the Baltimore Ravens back?
I mean, that's the only thing I can see. So I think there is a possibility that the Ravens go on a Super Bowl run and the Giants just stink this year again. And
that's what I'm saying. If John Harbaugh was holding the team back, then that bodes really well for me.
Well, yeah, no, it does, and I get it, but I just don't see like everybody's kind of giving this division to the Ravens, and I'm like, let's slow down a little bit here. Like, don't get me wrong, I think they're going to.
Well, I'm not giving it to the Browns. I'll tell you that much.
Fair enough. But let's look at the Ravens' schedule here. So again, AFC South, NFC North. We know that. Bills, Chargers, and your Cowboys. A date in Brazil awaits the Ravens and Cowboys in Week 3. Now, I will say again, look at the Ravens' schedule. Their bye week they got a late bye, Week 13. So their first 4 weeks at Indianapolis, home New Orleans, at Dallas, that's the Brazil game, and then home Tennessee. That's 3-1. Like, you should be 3-1 after that 4 weeks. Week 5 at Atlanta Sunday night, at Cleveland, home Cincinnati, at Buffalo, Thursday night Jacksonville, Monday night Chargers. So that's a stretch there. You go home Bengals at Buffalo, Thursday night Jacksonville at home, Monday night Chargers at home. That's a tough little stretch there. You get out of that at Carolina, at Houston before you go to the bye week. You play Pittsburgh twice in 4 weeks at the end there. And you have at Cincinnati Week 17, which that could end up being for the division, that at Cincinnati game. So I think the schedule is a little – that's the other thing why I'm like, let's pump the brakes a little bit, because we just went through Cincinnati's schedule and looking at Baltimore's schedule. Like, I think Baltimore's got a little bit potential, some more roadblocks in their way than maybe the Bengals do. That's just my thought.
I think the big question will be, does Lamar Jackson decide to eat healthy instead of taking food from food trucks at 2 a.m.? So I have a friend who is who's from Baltimore and is a big Ravens fan, and he's like, I wish this guy would just not have the diet of a 12-year-old. Yeah.
Like a YouTube streamer,
yeah, exactly.
The other thing, and I'll just point this out, like Declan Doyle, I mentioned this, offensive coordinator, he was not the play caller for the Bears last year. This will be his first chance to actually call plays. So, like, I think that's something to consider too. I think their defense is going to be fine. Anthony Weaver is a noted defensive coordinator, very respected. Obviously, Jesse Minter's the head coach. He's a defensive guy. I think they'll be fine. Hand the ball to Derrick Henry. You'll probably be okay. Like let Derrick Henry eat. You'll probably be okay. I don't know. I got to see it. Now, listen, if they come out of the box and they're like 4-0 and they're beating teams by 2 touchdowns, yeah, sure. Okay. I'll admit I'm wrong, but I gotta see it. I gotta see it first. All right. You want to move on to the last team in the division here? The division winners. The division winners, the 10-7 last year, Pittsburgh Steelers lost in the AFC wildcard, got boat raced quite honestly by the Texans in that AFC wildcard game. Over under for the Steelers, the number I have is 8.5. I don't know if that matches what you're seeing.
Let me I'm checking DraftKings, by the way. So
okay,
if there's any question on where I'm pulling these,
I think I got mine. Okay, I think I got mine from either Rebet or maybe ESPN. I don't remember. Might have been
classic Steelers line, right?
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, last year we were doing this, and I said, look, they still got Mike Tomlin. That guarantees you 9-8. Well, Mike Tomlin's not there anymore. He's on NBC now. I just saw him on TV a minute ago. Mike McCarthy, Cowboys coaching legend Mike McCarthy, now the head coach at Pittsburgh. Offensive coordinator Brian Angelico. Patrick Graham, defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator Danny Crossman. Last year for Aaron Rodgers, buddy. He's going to ride off into the sunset, apparently. Putting Fauci on blast, putting Mike Vrabel on blast. He's just going to flame on. He's just burning all them bridges.
How's his wife doing is the real question.
Right. How's his wife? That's good.
I told my wife about that story, and she looked at me. She's like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah, no one knows that she exists." And he's like, "That guy has problems."
Now, They did bring in Cowboy legend Rico Dowdle, running back. So
I love Rico. I want Rico to succeed. Good guy.
Yeah,
I like him a lot.
Absolutely.
Even though he ran over us last year.
Hey, he helped me win fantasy that week, so God bless him. They did bring in. They also acquired big trade this offseason, Michael Pittman, to pair with DK Metcalf there at the wide receiver position. Cameron Hayward got a new deal. They extended Darnell Washington, big tight end there. Nick Herbig got a new deal. Asante Samuel Jr. They went out and got Jamal Dean from Tampa Bay. That's kind of a sneaky good signing there. Jaquan Brisker on a 1-year deal. Chris Boswell got a new 5-year deal, so shout out to kickers. They did lose Kenneth Gainwell, so they replaced Kenneth Gainwell with Rico Dowdle. They also lost to the Cowboys, Marquez Valdez.
I guess he did. I guess Kenny didn't gain well enough.
He didn't gain well enough. We'll see how he does in Tampa. They also lost Saints legend Andrus Peat, who just announced he is retiring from the NFL, so shout out to him. Draft-wise, they did go offensive line in the first round. The offensive tackle from Arizona State, whose last name I cannot pronounce, so I won't even try. They did also go an Iowa offensive guard in round 3, Jennings Dunker. And have you seen the Drew Aller talk coming out of Steelers camp? Apparently he's throwing the ball around there while Aaron Rodgers, I don't know, watches. I don't know what he's doing. I guess he's providing insight for him. But listen, we talk about teams every year that can regress and teams that can go from first to worst. Buddy, this seems like a prime candidate. I just don't know what this McCarthy Rodgers thing is going to look like in Pittsburgh. I hope for the good people of Pittsburgh it doesn't go too far south. Their schedule, they have a first place schedule. So obviously AFC South, NFC South, they get the Patriots, the Broncos, and the Eagles. Now I will say, if you're going to have a first place schedule, Patriots, Broncos, Eagles isn't terrible. Like in terms
could be worse.
Could be worse. With the AFC South and the NFC South, also, they start out home Atlanta at the Patriots, home Bengals at Cleveland Thursday night, home Indianapolis at Tampa. They go to Paris to play the Saints in Week 7. Come back home, play the Browns. So they get both Cleveland games early, for what that's worth. They're tough stretches after the bye. At Cincinnati on Sunday night, at Philadelphia, home Denver on Black Friday, home Houston Sunday Night Football, at Jacksonville Monday Night Football, home Baltimore. So they get Baltimore 2 of the last 4 weeks with a home game against the Panthers and a road game at Tennessee. So yeah, that schedule's not the softest, I would say. Especially after that bye week. But I don't know. I'm curious to see what Rodgers has got left in the tank. See what McCarthy can dial up for him. If they can get some of that magic back from 15 years ago when they won the Super Bowl. Think about that. They won the Super Bowl with the Packers. That was 15 years ago. It was 2011. So
get the gang back together.
Get the gang back together. They should have signed Greg Jennings or Donald Driver or I don't know. It's one of those receivers. Clay Matthews come out of retirement to play a linebacker. That was the game. Didn't Charles Woodson get hurt in that Super Bowl? Like he played in the Super Bowl, but he got hurt. So like after the game, he's like in a sling. Charles Woodson won that.
Maybe
was that Super Bowl?
I just remember the Packers had like a lot of injuries that season. Like they were like the most injured team to ever win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they just kind of went on that run. That was the year the Saints lost the 49. No. No, it was the next year. It was it was that year. Saints lost to the 49ers. 49ers lost to the Giants? No, that's the Giants Super Bowl year. Never mind. I'm thinking of the. No, I'm thinking a different. This is a different year. When did they? No, they won it in 2010. That was the 2010
Yeah,
season.
2011
was the Giants. That was the Giants.
Yeah.
So it was
and then
Saints
2012
in
was the
09.
Seahawks.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, I was off by a year. I was way off, Jerry. Yeah, I don't know, man. I gotta tell you, the AFC North to me is tricky. Both of these divisions are tricky to pick because I could see any of the three teams minus Cleveland potentially winning this division if things break right. Even Pittsburgh, like now, obviously, I think a lot more things have to break right for Pittsburgh for them to win the division, but I still could see a path where they potentially can compete. So, any other AFC North thoughts before we transition here to the NFC North?
Let's keep going.
All right, NFC North. We're going to start again at the bottom. We talked about the Steelers potentially being a first to worst. One of the most popular worst to first picks, the Detroit Lions, 9-8 in 2025. They're over under. The number I have is 10.5. What do you have, buddy? 10.5?
10.5, minus 115 to the over, minus 105 to the under. So pretty, still
over.
pretty,
Yeah,
only
still,
a little
still,
though.
Little juice. They did change offense coordinators. Drew Petzing comes over from the Cardinals after the Cardinals kind of changed their coaching staff over. They signed Teddy Bridgewater to be the backup quarterback there behind Jared Goff. Isaiah Pacheco comes in on a one-year deal, kind of a sneaky signing. Obviously, they traded
Teddy Bridgewater signing with the Detroit Lions. What year is it?
Yeah, I know, right? Pacheco comes in, so they trade David Montgomery to the Texans. We'll talk more about that next week when we preview the Texans. Pacheco comes in. That's a pretty good signing, I think. Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs just got paid today, actually, as we're recording this. Bijan Robinson, Bijan Robinson, the highest paid running back in NFL history for 3 days, something like that. And here comes Jahmyr Gibbs to take his lunch money, as it were. A couple other signings. In that David Montgomery trade, they get Juice Scruggs from the Texans as offensive lineman. They did a deal for Jack Campbell, re-signed Malcolm Rodriguez, a couple other defensive signings. I'm looking at losses here. They Dan Skipper, your guy, wasn't he the eligible or not eligible in that game against the Cowboys? Wasn't the Dan Skipper?
Yeah, and they got mad at the Cowboys, like we're the ones who like messed up the refereeing in that situation.
Yeah, well, Dan Skipper is now retired. He was reporting as retired now, so shout out to him. They did also lose a couple of Saints legends: Marcus Davenport, Al-Qadim Muhammad, and Alex Anzalone, all no longer with the Lions. Obviously, they had the Terry and Arnold situation. We'll call it that.
Yeah. Anytime. I would say anytime one of your players gets arrested for kidnapping, it's probably not a good.
Not ideal.
Not ideal.
Their draft, they got Blake Miller, the offensive tackle from Clemson, in the first round.
They lost Marcus Davenport.
Yeah, I don't know where Davenport. I don't even know where he is now. Lost in space somewhere. God only knows. Their schedule. So the Lions' non-division schedule: NFC South, AFC East. Here's a benefit of a last place schedule: you get the Giants, the Cardinals, and the Titans. Those are your three other games. They do start the season with the Saints at home, so obviously I will be keeping a close eye on them week one. I will also mention both starting safeties for the Lions, Brian Branch and I can't remember the other one, but they both started training camp on the PUP list. So that's something to keep in mind. Why can I not remember the other safety? Because he made a big deal out of like, he's like, oh no, I'm healthy, I'm ready to go, whatever.
Well, as you know, the Detroit secondary has been remarkably healthy over the past few years. So
Yeah.
No one should be worried about that at all.
Yeah, nothing to see there. Now, one thing I will say, going into last season with the Lions, because they were coming off that season, they were the 1 seed, they lose in the playoffs to the Commanders, you get upset by the Commanders. Ben Johnson leaves, Aaron Glenn leaves, and I was like, yep, Lions are not making the playoffs this year. They did still finish 9-8 to their credit, but they're in the NFC North where everybody was over 500, so sad for them. This year, I feel like a lot of people are seeing them as a worst to first, just to kind of, because it's a reset. Like you're just going to kind of balance back, from what you
let's also look at their schedule because it is pretty.
Saints at home, at the Bills on Thursday night. That's the new Bills Stadium opening. Jets at home, at Panthers on Sunday night, at Cardinals before your bye week. Yeah, that's probably 4-1. I mean, 4-1, 5-0 is not outside of the realm of possibility. After the bye week, home Green Bay, home Vikings, at Dolphins. They go to Germany to play the Patriots. Home Tampa. Thanksgiving Day, they play the Bears. At Falcons, home Tennessee. They play their 3 divisional opponents out of the last 4 weeks. At Minnesota on Sunday night, Giants on Monday night, at Chicago, at Green Bay. At Green Bay could very well be for the division. Well, either of those last 2 games could be for the division. I get why people are high on the Lions. I just got to see it again. That's the thing about this. Like, I get it, but I gotta see. Now, listen, if they come out week 1 against the Saints and boat race them, then yeah, okay, I'll be the first one to say, yeah, I was wrong. They still have Amon-Ra St. Brown. They've got Jahmyr Gibbs. Goff is still Goff. I mean, for what it's worth, Goff is pretty steady as a quarterback goes.
He's not Goffle.
It's not Goffle. And if he gets hurt, I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, God love him. Like
how old is Teddy Bridgewater now? He's got to be pushing 40, right?
Well, I mean, he was a backup with the Saints in 2019, 2018, around there. So that'll give you some idea. So the Lions, yeah, I mean, again, this division is just so tough. As we get through the rest of these teams, this is one of the tough divisions for me to kind of go through. But let's move on to the next team. Also finished 9-8 in 2025. The Minnesota Vikings. I have their over/under number at 8.5. Is that what you're seeing? Yeah.
No juice. -110 both sides.
Yeah. I think a lot of that's Kevin O'Connell. I think Kevin O'Connell is now the new Mike Tomlin in that.
Also they don't have J.J. McCarthy running this whole show.
True. So, and when I say he's the new Mike Tomlin, Kevin O'Connell, it's like Kevin O'Connell can. I mean, he's a coach of the year. Obviously, big part of the Sam Darnold resurgence was that year he spent in Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell. Maybe they catch lightning in a bottle again with Kyler Murray this year. Obviously McCarthy's still there. They do have a new general manager in place, Nolan Tisley. By the way, they also have Carson Wentz on the roster for what it's worth. So,
remember when he was like
good?
No, remember when he looked like he was trying? He felt like dying on national television because his arm was in so much pain.
Gosh, yeah. Because they were trying to stay in the hunt, right? Yeah. Man, they did bring in Juwan Jennings from the 49ers at receiver. Obviously, still have Justin Jefferson. Still have who's the second receiver? Naylor? Jalen? Is it?
Jordan Addison is who you're trying to think of.
Jordan Addison. Yeah, sorry. I should know that. He was on my fantasy team last year. Let's see. Let me pull up. I do want to give a shout out real quick. This new website, relatively new website, the2deep.com. Have you seen this? So they have all the depth charts for all the NFL teams, and it's color coded. It's a very nice website. It's TWODWEP.com. So check them out. Shout out to them. Aaron Jones Sr. at running back, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Jawan Jennings. That's not a bad receiving core, to be honest. Like TJ Hawkinson at tight end. Offensive line should be pretty good. They spent some money there last offseason. The defense, we know Brian Flores is still there as defense coordinator. That defense should still be a going concern, I would say. They did lose their punter, and the reason I know that is because he's now with the Saints, Brian Wright. Brought in Johnny Hecker as a punter. So we'll see what that portends. They also lost. They did lose Jalen Nyler, who's the receiver I was thinking of. They lost him to the Raiders. Jonathan Allen goes to the Bengals. So Jonathan Allen wasn't from the Commanders. Sorry, he was from the Vikings. We talked about him with the Bengals earlier. Ryan Kelly, their center that they got from the Colts last year, he retired. So there'll be a new center there. Harrison Smith, they lost. Jonathan Grenard, talented edge rusher. He's now with the Philadelphia Eagles. So they'll have to make some adjustments there. First-round pick. Their first-round pick was Caleb Banks from Florida, defensive lineman. They also got the big defensive tackle from Iowa State, Dominique Orange, who I believe was he the one that was like, I don't know, is that who was the defensive lineman that showed up to camp and they were like, yeah, you're too out of shape. You gotta basically lose 30 pounds before we even let you practice. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Wasn't Taco Charlton?
No, I'm talking about this year, not the past.
I don't think I heard that story.
Maybe I'm misremembering it. I don't know. I do have a special place for the Vikings. They did draft Stephen F. Austin State University Charles Demings, defensive back. So Axum Jacks. The Vikings, yeah, man. I should have mentioned this in what I got up to this week. I was a guest on the 32 Fans podcast, my annual appearance there, talking about the Saints. The host of that podcast, Alexander Chester, he is a Vikings fan. We didn't talk much Vikings. He had me stay on topic with the Saints, but I did propose to him a Spencer Rattler trade. He had no dice, didn't want it. So, oh well. I tried. The Vikings. So let's think about this. Go back to the Lions for a second. Remember how I said the Lions, like by virtue of last place, they got to play the Giants, the Cardinals, and the Titans? The Vikings, because they get third place, they get the Commanders, the 49ers, and the Colts, which is still not horrible, but like that's a difference like between those two sets of opponents, I would say. NFC South, AFC East. So Vikings have a bye week in week 6. Here's their first 5 games. Home Green Bay, at Chicago, right off the bat. The 2 playoff teams from your division. At Tampa. Home Miami, at New Orleans. Not terrible. Manageable, I would say. They have a stretch here starting in week 8. So they have a bye week 6. They have a home game week 7 against the Colts. Then they go at Detroit, Buffalo Monday night, at Green Bay, at San Francisco. That's the Mexico City game, week 11. Home Atlanta, home Carolina. Then they go at the Patriots Thursday Night Football week 14. Home Detroit, home Commanders, at Jets, and then home Bears. I mean, again, like if Kevin O'Connell can get something out of Kyler Murray, the schedule's not, I don't think it's that bad. Like, I don't think it's that, there is a couple tough stretches in there, like that at Detroit, home Buffalo, at Green Bay, at San Francisco, which I don't know what San Francisco. We'll talk about San Francisco down the line, but I'm not feeling too good about them right now.
How about that substation?
That substation. By the way, shout out to whoever created the substation Twitter account. My hat's off to you. But yeah, the Vikings. I don't know. Like I like the rest of this.
I don't really know how to feel. I don't know how to feel about them because I've always been like a little low on Kyler, and so this is a chance to now. If he goes to the Kevin O'Connell offense and it's still bad, then I get to I can just gloat and say, hey, look how bad he is. It's not just a bad offensive system. It's just him. So that's what I'm really hoping for.
Again, I mean, this is almost, I don't mean this disparagingly, but like this is almost a better version of the Browns where like if you took a quarterback, if you could tell me that the Vikings quarterback is going to be like a top 15 quarterback, I feel pretty good about this team. But I don't know that. Like if I had Baker Mayfield, I keep using Baker Mayfield up as like a replacement level quarterback, but like you put Baker Mayfield as the Vikings quarterback, man, we might be in business. You know what I mean? Like
who's taller, Baker or Kyler?
It has to be Baker, right? Got to be.
I don't know about that.
Is Baker really that short? I didn't realize Baker was that short.
Let's see. How tall is Baker Mayfield? 6'1".
Okay. That's Drew Brees' height. Drew Brees was 6 foot, 6'1", somewhere around. Kyler's like 5'11", isn't he?
5'10".
5'10", yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, let's see. I mean, let's see what happens. Let's see. I mean, we know Flores is going to have that defense ready to play. Connell is a quarterback whisperer of sorts, as he's shown in the past. Excuse me. Let's see. See what happens. All right, up next, the 9-7-1. We all know who the one was. Green Bay Packers. Lost in the NFC.
We should remind people that the Cowboys were missing 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen. Were like 3 out of 5, and one was injured. Was like playing through an injury or something like that. Like, and they still tied. They probably could have won that game.
Yeah, Packers lost the NFC wildcard game, a game that they probably should have won against Chicago. Like, if we're being honest, like, I mean, credit to the Bears. Look, Bears fans, don't get mad at me, okay? Like, I you won the game. Like, I understand, but you know, Packers had that game in hand for a good bit of it, and then they let them off the hook, as the late great Dennis Green would say. But yeah, 9-7-1. I have their over/under, buddy, at 9.5. Is that the number?
I think it's still 9.5, and it is over -130, under +110.
Yeah, it's another situation where, you know, LaFleur is a good coach. Like, there's a lot of talk here about, like, is it LaFleur is a good coach? Is it Jordan Love? Maybe he's not as good a quarterback as we think he is. A lot of talk about that this offseason, so we'll see how that comes. You and I both were high on Jordan Love going into last year, and we were wrong.
I don't know that I like get really excited about the way he plays, because he'll make some like incredible throws and do some of the most boneheaded things you've ever seen. So it's very, very Favrean. So there's that.
Yeah, well, it's appropriate playing in Green Bay, I guess. They did lose Jeff Hafley, their defensive coordinator. He is now the head coach with Miami. They bring in Jonathan Gannon from Arizona, former Arizona head coach. They also replaced Rich Bisaccia, special teams coordinator.
Bisaccia,
excuse me, with Cam Acord, I believe is how you pronounce it. They did bring up backup quarterback Tyrod Taylor. So
they did strike a chord with their coaching special teams.
They did strike a chord. Yeah, they did. Tyrod Taylor now the backup in Green Bay. Hopefully no punctured lungs in his future with the Packers. They also signed Sky Moore to a free agent deal. A couple other deals here.
This is the breakout performance. This is the breakout year, Paul.
For who? Sky
For
Moore?
Sky Moore. It's coming.
Okay. You say so. They did also acquire Zaire Franklin from the Colts at linebacker, so kind of helping shore up the defense with Jonathan Gannon coming on board. They did lose Malik Willis. He went to the Dolphins. He followed Jeff Hafley to the Dolphins. We'll talk about them in 2 weeks when we preview the AFC East. They also lost Romeo Doubs to the Patriots. They traded Dontavian Wicks to the Eagles. Lost Quay Walker. They traded Rashawn Gary to the Cowboys. So Brandon McManus, who I don't think that was a big loss, a kicker. I know my former coworker, who is a Packers fan, was not a fan of McManus, as it were. So,
you know you can't spell McManus without anus.
That's true. You cannot. Their draft, no first-round pick, obviously, because of the Micah Parsons deal, which I don't know if you heard, but apparently Micah's going to be back in time for the Cowboy game, Week 6. So
we'll see how healthy he is, though.
The word on the street. So draft-wise,
did you see he blamed his ACL tear on not having training camp last year?
No, did not see that.
Well, whose fault is that?
Tell us how you really feel, buddy.
Why don't you call your agent about that one, buddy?
Tell us how you really feel, buddy. Yeah, I mean, nothing really to speak of on their draft. No names that really. The edge rusher from Penn State, Denise Sutton.
Denise. Was it a woman?
Their non-division schedule.
Let me call Sophie Cunningham and see how she feels about this.
She seems to be doing okay. So right now, Sophie Cunningham.
She's in the news a lot. I know that much.
Yeah, she's out there, Jerry, and she's loving every minute of it. So the non-division schedule for the Packers: NFC South, AFC East, Cowboys, Rams, Texans. Buddy, that's 3 teams. You may not want
have
to
fun
play
with
this
that
year.
one.
Yeah. So they start their season. They have a late bye. Week 11 is their bye. They get a Thanksgiving Eve game at Los Angeles at the Rams, which is weird, but they go at Minnesota, at the Jets, home Falcons Thursday night, at Tampa, home Chicago, home Cowboys, at Detroit, home Carolina on Thursday night, at the Patriots, home Vikings. Man, that's a mismatch of teams there. Their last 3 games at Chicago on Christmas, 2 home games, Houston and Detroit to close out the season. This,
good luck with that.
I hadn't really looked at them, man, but like Packers might be in trouble this year. Like this might not be a stellar year for the Cheeseheads. But
that would break my heart.
I know it would. LaFleur, obviously, I mean he's done well. I think this is kind of a let's see what you got, Jordan Love kind of season. So obviously had high hopes last year, didn't quite live up to them. How does he bounce back from that this year? I'm curious. I'm curious to see. I think their first 4 weeks are fairly manageable. Then they kind of get into that meat of the schedule there. The NFC South will help. Playing the NFC South will help, I think, for them. They don't play the Saints until later, and it's in New Orleans, Week 13, the week after Thanksgiving. So I just don't know what to think about them. This whole division is just a toss-up to me, but we'll see. All right, last but certainly not least, our favorite team in the NFC North, right, buddy?
The fan base that's the biggest fans of us. shall we say.
Yeah, for sure.
The number one regression candidate.
Number one, yeah. I mean, according to their own coach, right? Chicago Bears won the division, lost in the divisional round, correct, to the Rams?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In overtime, if I'm not mistaken. So I have their over-under at 9.5. Is that what you got?
Yes, and I was just looking at it. It was over is plus 100, under minus 120.
Okay, so a little juice on the under. Yeah, listen, we'll talk about their schedule in a minute, but a very popular what team was in the playoffs last year maybe won't be in the playoffs this year candidate. They obviously have to replace their offensive coordinator, Declan Doyle. Press Taylor comes in. I mean, Ben Johnson's the play caller, so, that's how that's going to go there. They bring in Case Keenum. They re-signed Case Keenum, University of Houston legend, to back up Caleb Williams.
I didn't realize that Case Keenum was still in the league, by the way.
But yeah, buddy. He's on that Chase Daniel track. He's on that I mean, nobody's on a Chase. Chase Daniel's one of one, but yeah.
It's been 20 years as a backup.
Yep. And then get a job at ESPN, get a podcast where your co-host gets in trouble with Mike Vrabel. Yeah,
there we go.
That's the track. The Bears, couple moves they made here on the offensive line. Jedrick Willis, they traded for Garrett Bradbury from the Patriots. Signed Kentavious Street, defensive lineman. Come through here.
Related to Peekaboo Street?
Sure, absolutely. Their big departure. Oh, they also signed Kobe Bryant from the Seahawks.
Not that Kobe Bryant.
Not that Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace. But their big departure this year was DJ
Jack
Moore.
Sanborn?
Yeah, Cowboy legend, right? Jack Sanborn?
Yeah. He came back?
I guess. Yeah, he's back, baby. DeMarco Jackson, Saints legend, re-signed. Another classic Saints linebacker who didn't play well for the Saints, went to another team, and now is thriving. But the big departure for the Bears, DJ Moore, wide receiver, got traded to the Bills. Talk that he and Caleb Williams maybe weren't simpatico a little bit, but we'll see how that goes in Buffalo for him. Drew Dahlman, their center, another center retired for them for a team. They lost a good bit here. Jaquan Brisker, Kevin Byard, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Tremont Edmonds, Andrew Billings. Actually, funny story. Andrew Billings made a play in the Hall of Fame game tonight for the Cardinals. That's a big fella. I don't know if you've seen.
Big fella.
He's a big fella.
I got to tell you, I need to see this Travis Homer guy. I need to see him next to the Cardinals player Reggie Virgil. So you're gonna have Homer and Virgil.
There you go.
Together.
Absolutely.
Which by the way was my grandfather's first and middle names.
Homer and Virgil.
Homer Virgil nice. Connor.
Nice.
As you can see, our family is very, very big on the classics, the literature, the classic Greek and Roman literature.
Now, I will give the Bears this. Their draft, they had a pretty good draft. Dylan Thieneman, the safety out of Oregon, Logan Jones out of Iowa, the center, Xavion Thomas, the receiver out of LSU, your guy, Malik Muhammad from the Longhorns. Another one of my cousins, Keyshawn Elliott from Arizona State. They build their team the right way. Build it through the draft. So I'll give them credit there. Their non-division schedule: NFC South, AFC East, Eagles, Seahawks, Jaguars, So let's look at the schedule here. Their bye week is week 10, so right in that meaty part of the curve. They start out at Carolina, home Minnesota, home for Philadelphia on a Monday night, home Jets. Pretty manageable first 4 weeks. At Green Bay, at Atlanta, Thursday night home for the Patriots, at Seattle on a Monday night. So they do play at Seattle, but they go Thursday night to Monday night, which is advantageous, I would think. Then they come back Sunday night football home against Tampa, and then their bye week. So they've got 4 primetime games in their first 9. So half of their pre-bye week schedule is primetime games. They host the Saints. They go to Detroit on Thanksgiving. Host Jacksonville, at Miami. Their last 4 games, buddy. At Buffalo on a Saturday. Christmas Day, home against the Packers. Home Lions. At Vikings. That's a pretty slippery way to end your season. I think the big question is, what does Caleb do in year 2 in this system? Apparently came into camp 10 to 15 pounds lighter. Will they have a running game to speak of? Who's their running back in Chicago?
Isn't it the guy that they had in Detroit that Ben Johnson hated? DeAndre Swift.
Is it DeAndre Swift?
Is it not?
You might be right. It is DeAndre. Oh, but okay. They have Kyle Monungai. Who
played
Big
really
Chungus. Well.
Big Chungus.
Yep. They also have Longhorn legend Rashawn Johnson, right? Isn't Rashawn Johnson a Longhorn legend? Where's he at here? Yeah. University of Texas from Port Neches. A lot of buzz coming out of camp about Luther Burden III. A lot of Luther Burden's your fantasy go-to guy this year. So we'll see how that plays out. Khalif Raymond. A lot of love for Colston Loveland. A lot of talk about him being the next big deal at tight end. So
yeah, especially fantasy circles.
Fantasy circle, yep. So we'll see. My big question with the Bears, we all know how big a fan I am of Dennis Allen, their defense coordinator. A lot of their defensive success last year was based on turnovers. Now, we know from watching the NFL for quite a while, success in forcing turnovers is not something that's sustainable year over year. So I saw this with the Saints personally. 2009, they go to the Super Bowl. They're creating a bunch of turnovers, scoring off turnovers. Not sustainable. So let's see what the Bears are if they're not forcing turnovers. If their defense is not forcing turnovers, what's their defense going to look like?
I think they also have had a couple of injuries to defensive backs early in the season, or early. I think one of them was supposed to be out like 8 to 10 weeks. Which is like
Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant's listed as out on this. What I'm seeing.
Yeah, so I think that's another reason they're trying to improve the secondary was not very good last year, and their hope is that like health and like a couple of new players will improve it. And
I'm seeing
so far that's not going well.
I'm also seeing Kyler Gordon is on the PUP list right now. Who's another one of their corners. Thieneman, the first round pick out of Oregon, he's going to get thrown right in, looks like. So, yeah, I think their schedule starts off manageable at Carolina, home Minnesota. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I tell you, man, this division is just tough. What do we think on Caleb? Where would you rank him? Or do we dare? Do we dare even?
What was it? The Jose Mourinho meme? I do not want to talk. If I talk, I will get in trouble.
We're going to be like Fauci and plead the fifth here.
Yeah, there we go. Fifth. I can't do the Dave Chappelle. Fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I will say I am interested to see how Caleb progresses this year. So very interesting division, the NFC North. NFC North, excuse me. Both of these divisions, AFC and NFC North. It's going to be interesting to see how they play out this season. Hopefully, we've helped preview these pretty well. Do we want to do again? We'll do our picks later down the road. Do you have you don't have to give me a name, but do you have a feeling of what team you're going to pick to win each of these divisions? Or are you still kind of?
So I think I'm just going to take the cowards way out and take the Ravens in the AFC. I don't know about the NFC.
I'm telling you, man. Can you see? Let me ask this question: do you think it's all four teams are in play? Maybe not the Vikings.
I think they're all in play. Like I can see a world where the Vikings do win it. Okay. I think they're probably like the longest shot to win it. I would probably lean Green Bay or Detroit at this point. Yeah, Green Bay or Detroit. Okay. And then, but I think those three teams are probably going to be fighting at it until the end, just depending on like who stays healthy, if there's like a lot of injuries or whatnot.
I agree. I was trying to look up odds here real quick if I could get to it on Rebet. Rebet made me re-sign in. Let's see. Sportsbook, NFL, futures. Nope. Oh, it's because there's a game going on. Here we go. Futures. NFC North. Do you want to guess who the betting favorite is for the NFC North?
Isn't it Detroit?
It is Detroit at plus 160. Do you want to guess what the Bears' odds are? At least on Rebet?
Plus 300.
Plus 310. Yeah.
Close.
Vikings are plus 450. That's
okay.
That might be a little.
What's Green Bay like? Plus 2 something? Plus 200? Plus 240?
240. Yeah. That's. Let's see. So the Bears. Wait, I want to see the Vikings.
I don't know if you still got it on, but this Hall of Fame game is going down to the wire here.
Yeah, I see that. Haynes King here, Longview's finest, slinging it. Is it still Haynes King? Is he still in, or is it somebody else?
Yeah, he's still in there.
Okay. Let's see, Panthers, Cardinals. Who would present? Steve Berline, right? That would be the Steve Berline Bowl.
Yes, that would be my pick.
Which I think Steve Berline's going to present next week, because if we do Panthers, Jaguars,
yeah,
for the South, yeah. Tune in for that next week. Anything else on the North? Anything else on the AFC or NFC North? Two divisions that are just, again, I just find them tough to call.
They're intriguing.
I will say the AFC North feels a little bit more like, I think it's really two teams in the AFC North, Bengals and Ravens. NFC
all of this depends on Joe Burrow not getting injured, which seems to happen quite a bit too.
And it also depends on, like, can the Steelers find the fountain of youth with Rodgers, and like, can McCarthy
they find the fountain of ivermectin?
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's the key. But yeah, so that's the Norse. We will be doing the Souths next week, NFC South, AFC South. So obviously we'll talk about my team, my beloved Saints. We'll talk about our team that's local to both Brandon and I, the Houston Texans. A lot of buzz around the Texans right now. But I'm skeptical on the Texans a little bit. Not skeptical.
We saw the video of CJ Stroud walking into the facility.
There's a piece of the Texans that I got to see it. But and then obviously I'm sure Brandon's going to be still high on the Jaguars after last year. He was on it. You were on the Jaguars early last year. I'll give you credit there. So we'll see what that holds for us next week, and then we'll do the East the week after that, and the West week after that. Maybe we can reach out to Trang. Maybe Trang will join us for the West preview.
Maybe we can see. We can get in touch,
or at least for the
South.
For the South.
The Seahawks.
At least give us her Seahawks thoughts going into the season. I know we talked to her after the Super Bowl. Maybe we'll check in on the Padres too while we're at it. See how that's going. She posted some pictures on Twitter.
This looks like she's over
on
in
vacation.
In Europe. It looks like.
Yeah. So shout out to her. Hope she's having a good time. But we'll hopefully check in with her. We'll check in with everybody next week. Hopefully this week's a little less adventurous for my guy Brandon.
Gosh, I hope so.
But we'll see. Oh, here goes Haynes King.
Rumbling.
Just converted a 3rd and 14 with the legs. All right, we'll see how this game ends. We won't have any more preseason football this week.
No.
Next week we've got the full slate starting. So, all right. Well, hope everybody has a good week. We are in the month of August now, so dog days of summer are here. By the way, before we go, new team atop the AL West, buddy.
Yeah, let's take a look at the teams they've been playing, Paul.
Who did they sweep? Who did they just sweep?
What did I tell you about the AL West? What did I tell you about the AL West? Everyone's bad. Who else did they play? Paul, who else did they play in the last 10 days?
Well, they did lose 2 out of 3 to the Blue Jays after trading for one of the Blue Jays outfielders, not named George Springer. But
yeah, what is the Blue Jays record right now too?
Is it not good? I don't
It's
know.
Under 500. I know that much.
Okay, well there you go. Well, listen, I will say, Yordan Alvarez still looking like he might get the Triple Crown. If the Astros make the playoffs and Alvarez hits the Triple Crown, he's got to be MVP, right? Like,
I think so. If he stays healthy.
Can I get? Can you help me out here? So we'll see. But yeah, so looks like the Panthers might be setting up, maybe go for a field goal to tie it, or maybe a touchdown to win it here.
You got to go to play to win. Come on, don't be a coward.
Play to win. Good catch there by I don't know who that was. Bryce Young on the sidelines.
Said Horton Jr.
Is that Torrey Horton? Maybe.
It said Horn.
Oh, that's Jimmy Horn. Jimmy Horn from Colorado. Yeah.
Not Joe Horn. No relation to Joe Horn.
He might be. I don't know. All right, here we go. Let's stick. Oh, almost a one-handed. Is that Brandon Cooks? No.
I don't think Brandon Cooks is that tall.
Yeah, I would say Brandon Cooks. He might have caught that. Maybe. All right. Do you want to stick around for this one play here? We got 2 seconds.
Hey, we got one more play. Might as well.
Might as well here. See if the Longview kid can pull it off. The funny thing is, like, half these guys aren't going to make the opening day roster. So, like, for them, this might be best they get. King's going to take off. Up. Got it. Touchdown.
You got it. He's in.
What a play. Longview Lobo. Look at Canales. Might be the happiest he is all season. All right, so the Panthers winning a
First take. Should Haynes King replace Bryce Young as the starting quarterback of the Panthers?
Well, I mean, I had a take early in the offseason. I said Kenny Pickett was going to end up starting games for the Panthers. I may have picked the wrong quarterback there.
I think you did.
Yeah. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. All right, well, that was fun. So good job, Panthers. Watch the Hall of Fame this weekend, folks. Drew Brees going in, Luke Kuechly, Larry Fitzgerald, Roger Craig, Adam Vinatieri. We'll talk about it next week. But until then, happy Hall of Fame, everybody.